Alright, how's everyone doing? These are your 8B spread of Islam notes. Just a reminder, guys, when you do these videos, if I go too fast through things for you guys, you can always pause the video and rewind it. YouTube is awesome like that. Alright, so at the end of this, you're going to be able to demonstrate knowledge of Islamic civilization by assessing the influence of geography on economic, social, and political development, including the impact of conquest and trade. Alright, so let's flash to where we were coming off of 8A. Muhammad and his early followers had fled the city of Mecca to the city of Medina. And as we said, Medina is our first Muslim city. Um, Muhammad's teachings were rejected early on in the city of Mecca, so he had to move to Medina to be accepted. Alright, and under Islamic rule, and specifically early, but especially as the Muslim empire spreads, groups that are accepted, or groups that accept the political authority of Islam, are going to be granted religious tolerance. So when I say political authority, that phrase right there, guys, what that means is when they accept the government. All right. So when they accept Muslim government, they are granted religious tolerance. This precedent is later on going to be applied to Jews, Christians, and other people of Scripture. For the most part, throughout a good chunk of history, Muslim countries, Muslim governments are generally very tolerant of other religions so long as they accept their authority to govern. Now, eventually, Muhammad is not going to be completely content with the city of Medina. He wants to go home to Mecca. That's the site of the Kaaba, which is holy to him. So eventually Muhammad and his followers are going to conquer the city of Mecca. And then instead of doing like throughout history where conquered peoples are enslaved or sometimes killed off, he actually accepts them, grants them their freedom as long as they, again, follow this rule up here of accepting the political authority of Islam. He's going to grant them tolerance. So this is going to create a pattern for other Muslim conquests later on. Alright, now, problems with the Arabian Peninsula, guys. Obviously, when you've got the cities of Mecca and Medina on the Arabian Peninsula, we've got a couple of obvious geographic problems, and this is how the geography of the region is going to impact civilization. While the Arabian Peninsula is surrounded by water on three sides, guys, it's mostly desert on the interior. Desert means low amount of rainfall. It's really hard to grow crops with that limited amount of rainfall. So very little agriculture ends up being possible on the Arabian Peninsula. Therefore, trade is not only important for survival, it is imperative. No trade, no ability to import food, no ability to survive. So along with these trade routes to and from Mecca, we're going to have the initial spread of Islam out of those two cities. So initially, Muhammad's just going to conquer Mecca and Medina, but the word of Islam is going to start to spread out of those cities via trade. And part of the reason the religion expands over great distance is despite of these great distances, the desert environments, the mountain barriers. Remember, trade is not a convenience thing for them. Because they can't grow food, there's no agriculture on the Arabian Peninsula, trade is necessary for survival. It has to happen. So we don't have some of these geographic barriers stopping the spread of Islam like we do in other parts of the world with other religions. And eventually, over the early years, Islam is going to spread throughout the Fertile Crescent to what is present-day Iran and Central Asia. And if you don't know where Central Asia is, you want to think that area where Alexander conquered, that is between present-day Iraq, Iran, and India, or better known as, at least if you're me, you've got Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. I just like to call them the stands. Alright. And then part of the reason that Islam is able to spread so quickly is because we have a weak Byzantine and Persian Empire. The Persian Empire is almost 1,200 years old at this point in time. They're crumbling. But the Byzantine Empire, it's relatively new. This is around the year 600 CE that we're talking about, okay? So this is 50 years after Justinian's death. Remember that Justinian, at the time of his death, has left the empire bankrupt to the Byzantines. So the Byzantine Empire does not have the money to put up good defenses, and they also are surrendering land left and right. So a weak Byzantine Empire facilitates the spread of Islam. Alright, moving on. Now, the political unity of the First Muslim Empire is going to be extremely short-lived. It's going to be the life of Muhammad and about 40 more years after, and then the Muslim Empire is going to divide. This division is going to lead to what we have today between the two sects, the Sunnis and the Shias. We will talk about them in a later presentation. Big thing to remember here is Arabic language spreads with Islam and is going to facilitate trade across Islamic lands. All of these regions we are talking about here are predominantly Arabic speaking, and it starts then, 650 BCE, almost 1,000 years before we even get into Middle English, 600 years before any form of English has taken hold. The Arabic language has spread throughout the Middle East and South Asia. And then slavery, guys, I know this is going to feel like we're beating a dead horse over with a nail here. Slavery is not based on race. Okay, they do have slavery. It's not slavery the way anyone here with exposure to American slavery would think about it. It's not based on race. It borders more on indentured servitude. Alright? And that's going to be a wrap for this one.